Maybe life is a test of character. Every day we all get tested. The great teacher we call experience shows us that every test is a battle, a major development in our lives, which is war. The Art of Warfare, by the master Sun Tzu and revised by Niccolo Machiavelli, shows us that every war is a game. Even the spoils of the hunt are regarded as game. How ironic that in the midst of the hunt they are also classified as prey. In order to be more in this world than just prey, you must do more in this world than just pray. I'm not a religious man, but even the Bible says prayer without works is nothing. So what is this work that enables prayer to be at its best? The act of building character. The faith has got to be tested or there will be no purpose of having faith at all. High character is the understanding that every game is a test. Every test is a game. This game I speak of today is a test of the spirit, yet it's no different than any other game in theory. In every game there is a score. With every score there is a winner, and with every winner there is a loser. With every victor there is a victim. We all get tested, we all triumph, we all falter. We all appear impressive in some instances and not so impressive in others. Worldly perception makes us struggle to realize that these are merely appearances, but things are rarely what they appear to be. Appearances are fleeting judgments that we all go through in life. Life is but a test, a succession of instances and judgments of such preparing you for the ultimate stage. It is on this stage where life itself grades your character. Life always has a way of showing you exactly what you're made of, doesn't it? See, children know this fact, although they seldom, if ever, realize it. Children learn with a thirst like every drop of knowledge is delicious, the brains absorbing the flow of information until the cup runneth over. As they grow, the ability to draw on this knowledge and put it to use we call wisdom. When children learn how to play games, we teach them how to be a good sport. So what is the essence of being a good sport? It's not whether one wins or loses, but it's how they play the game. We call this character. Character building isn't something that happens overnight. You must take time to develop character. Every student that values time as a resource understands the importance of an education. That same student knows when to speak and when to listen. A still tongue keeps a wise head. Martin Luther King once said, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education." Speaking from personal experience, character is something that I had to learn to build from the bottom up. Like many of you, I come from modest beginnings. We didn't have much money in my household, much like every other urban, broken inner city family that I knew of. Then, as if life wasn't hard enough, the unimaginable happened. I was but a small child of 6 years old and I was hit by a car and almost died. The doctor said I was a lost cause, and if I did survive, I would have no quality of life. To this day, they still don't know how I made it. Some call my mere existence a medical miracle. I awoke to right side paralysis and severe brain damage. Everything seemed difficult in my life from that point on. I had to learn how to walk again, talk again, hold a fork, hold a spoon. And depression crippled my dreams. My skull was crushed. I had to get my cranium drilled to alleviate the pressure. My neck was severely sprained. I was in a prolonged coma, and the reality was being fed through a tube in a neck cast and completely unable to move the right side of my body. The pain was worse than anything I could ever imagine. I would go more into detail, but this is still a very difficult thing for me to talk about. If you are interested in knowing more about it, read my book, Maybe Life is a Test. And to come back from that and write that book, Maybe Life is a Test. What a test of character. Many days and nights I would lie awake in bed wishing that I died. It would have been so much easier just to lay down and die. What I didn't realize at the time was that I was being tested. Life has a way of preparing you for more life. Raised in a broken home in a violent community near Southeast Washington, D.C., I learned from an early age that life is going to give you nothing. You have to have the ability to take whatever it is you want from her frigid hands, and being a victim of traumatic brain injury makes life's grips on your desires that much colder. Times it feels as if life actually has her hands around your throat, squeezing each breath out of your ambitions. It's difficult to explain brain injury to people who never had it, but I'll give it a try. Imagine your brain is trapped inside of a maze, and you have to work through the maze to communicate with the outside world. Even still, you have to work through another maze to communicate with your own body. You're not in control of yourself, and your emotions are driving you to levels of extremes that are just socially unacceptable in every way. That was my childhood in a nutshell. A daily navigation through the state-run education system while avoiding being a statistic in the state-run penal system. That was the reality of my life in the urban jungle. Many friends of mine have been killed just trying to make it out of that same urban jungle, while others compromised their principles just trying to stay out of prison, only to find that they were mentally trapped in a prison similar to the very one they tried to avoid in the first place. Freedom is but a catchphrase for the mentally enslaved. The frustration mounts, and if you look close enough in the eyes, you can tell it's only a matter of time before the psychological bomb explodes. Tick, 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 boom. Being a victim of brain injury, I fully understand what it's like to have your brain imprisoned. I can recognize it when I see it. Speaking for the younger generation in America, I know exactly where we're being tested, and it is a game being orchestrated by influences many may not be privy to. Yet the solution to our biggest problem is staring us directly in our faces and manifests in almost everything that we do. The biggest problem that America faces today is the lack of character. This can be defined as low morale, no originality, soulless creativity, or identity crisis, or delusions of grandeur. Yet it's really all the same thing, and it is the basis of being out of touch with reality. You're hearing it from a survivor of traumatic brain injury. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. The collective mind of our nation is in the gutter, and we need an intellectual breakthrough. America has been socially engineered for the worst, transforming a nation of hardworking citizens into a herd of uninformed consumers, livestock bonded by the newest trends soaring on Wall Street. Your own observation will show you that we live in an instant gratification society. Few people truly understand the value of patience or discipline as previous generations have. My ancestors actually risked life and limb so that the children may go to school to have a chance at the very education that many throw away today, contributions to the collective gutter. Well, why did they do it, you may ask? Why sacrifice so much for what appears to be so little in return? They did it because it was their duty as keepers of the flame. It was the flame that led me to fight back from the grips of death. It is the flame that keeps us going. The flame is the truth, and the truth lights our way to the road to greatness. It is the same flame that Lady Liberty holds defiantly in her own frigid grasp, greeting every new American with her stone expression as she symbolizes our collective freedom. E pluribus unum. Out of many, we are one. That is the idea worth fighting for, the freedom to pursue greatness. For today, I will call greatness high character. You cannot measure greatness by shallow accomplishments of man. You measure greatness by the contributions to mankind. Helen Keller, who went through much more tragedy than I have, once said that character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Helen Keller. This is a woman who was blind and deaf. It didn't let her disability stop her from achieving greatness. She may have been blind and deaf in her time, but the perception of Helen Keller could teach all of us in our time. She passed the test of character. Helen teaches us that the experience of trial and suffering strengthens the soul. So when you are watching a protest of police brutality or social injustice or any type of unrest and upheaval that your conscious mind can't grasp, stop and think for a minute. These people are fighting to be heard. Have you ever pondered that maybe, just maybe, they are fighting to develop character in the great epic of life? Have you ever taken the time to truly understand their story? Character cannot be developed with ease and quiet. Genius and comfort never mixed, and they never will. Attempting to combine the two is a recipe for disaster. We are all trying to develop character in our own way, but some characters die off, while some characters change the story of life altogether. As the plot thickens, the show must go on. Don't fall off the cliffhanger. Understand your test and stay in character, or your higher power may have you written out of the script of life. What is your story? That is your genius, and the genius of character can be applied to a starving child in Africa or a billionaire in China. The test of character we all face every single day. But exactly how does this test relate to us in the here and now? In the United States of America, we are on the grand stage of the world. There are other superpowers emerging, and people say America just isn't what she used to be. There is moral decay in every capital, in every state in our nation, and jobs are being shipped overseas at an alarming rate. This is a test of our national character. With all eyes on us in such a competitive global market, we have the following options: rise to the occasion or fall to the global wayside. In order to rise to the occasion, we should all strive to maintain our integrity. Integrity is the identity of high character, and the pursuit of integrity is what makes our world a better place to live in, and one we should leave for future generations. Therefore, I will work to maintain my integrity as you should desire to maintain yours. Discipline is required to walk the road to high character, and only once we reach high character as a nation are we then qualified to serve the world as a whole. High character is true prosperity, and international sustainability is the purpose of true education. Once again, we all have a choice: rise to the occasion or fall to the wayside. At the end of the day, the world is depending on you to be your best. This may be your life, but this is our test.